Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Firepower Podcast. This is a show about the Firepower comic book series by Robert Kirkman, Chris Somney, Matt Wilson, and Russ Wooten. I'm your host, Bash, and I'm joined by my friends and my fellow hosts, Firefly, aka Addy, and Charlie. How's it hanging, everyone?
It's going well. If anyone lives in the East Coast of the United States right now, especially Northeast, we've been going through some bad weather. I know here in Buffalo it's been snowing nonstop for about a week straight. So I'm finally glad to be back home. Excited to talk about Firepower with you guys. How about you, Charlie?
Yeah, it's good to have you back. Sounds like crazy time. It's been good for me actually. The weather was getting pretty bad today, so was able to stay home and actually little Robert Kirkman kind of related thing as well. I finished Beef for anyone that's seen the Netflix show with Stephen Yeun. Freaking amazing. Anyone who hasn't seen that, go see that show. Just first off, but yeah, I'm super love that show and got to reread this issue again. Absolutely loved it and can't wait to get into it. How are you doing, Bash?
Good. Yeah, I've been rereading the books, the Firepower, just to get ready for the episodes, and then also been really on a Transformers kick. I've never really read I've seen the live action movies, yeah, all of them, but I feel like they're not really reflective of the actual animated stuff or the comic books. So I started reading a lot of those, and it's been fantastic. Bought some figures, watching some of the animated shows, and awesome. Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, I'm turning into like a zombie basically. And then so Firepower 26, ladies and gentlemen, it's a big issue because we're closing out the final arc of the series. Of course, the series is ending with Firepower number 30. So Firepower 26 released August 23rd, 2023, and they've got a creative team of Robert Kirkman as creator and writer, Chris Somney, creator and artist, Matt Wilson colors, Russ Wooten letters, and David Aja doing the variant cover, which is, in my opinion, the best variant in the whole series.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. Yeah, Bash. I remember the first time you showed me that. Just he's just so great. Still got to get my hands on one of those. But yeah, that's definitely one of the best covers, and that's the only variant for this one, right?
Yeah,
yep.
Pretty sure. That's one to get framed.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So we pick up from the last issue where, as we can see, Master Shaw continued his path of destruction by taking the dragon to Chicago and bringing the fight very close to Johnson's home. Owen confronted Layne about the death of his parents, and though their old bond of friendship remains broken, it prompted a surprising result. Layne finally mastered the Firepower. So yeah, last issue was huge. We had a really good time talking about the episode. It was a bit longer as well, the issue being double-sized. And let's see what we get off here. First page, is his guy's name is
our boy
is Tyler, right?
Tyler.
Tyler.
Boy, he's
I love
he's safe. He's not dead. He's not dead. The ninjas didn't get him. He's still kicking it, and he's become I love this. He's almost become a super fan in a way of the Johnson family. He's very traumatized, you can tell, but he loves talking about this, and you can tell he's just a big fan of the family, and
he
really, to see him back.
He really might be the only person in the US that knows the truth of what's happening. He knows more than anybody else. Everybody else thinks it's a giant dragon, but he's the only one who knows who's fighting them.
Yeah. The irony is that he doesn't even know that's the truth, but he suspects it. You know what I mean? But it's
just spot on. He's pretty spot on. It's funny, but he's being bullied about it. Obviously, just typical kids stuff. No one believes him at all. But it was just kind of one of those things. Though. It was cool. Yeah, no, it was cool. They didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Yes. They didn't have to do it at all. But it was a character. I remember first seeing him. I was concerned for his safety after his intro. So it's just nice to see him. Nice to see him safe here. And Kirkman's awesome. Kind of just going back to these little seeds he throws out there. So it was good going back to him. But yeah. And then we get right back into the action for sure. Been getting a lot of fireballs the last few issues for sure, but this one, yeah, this page was crazy.
Yeah,
I
I
love
like
how
the distinction between the balls. Like,
Yeah.
what's his name? Doug has like a small, dense ball, and then you, Haley's ball is more obviously it's way bigger, but it's also blue, and it's more like if you look at the lines, it's more jagged a little bit. So
Yeah.
I guess
The
it's more
energy's kind
wild.
of spilling out more. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like his is all just very condensed, contained.
right.
Yeah, no, it's very, very good for sure. The
I,
colors too are awesome. Yeah. Great page.
I love how they get different lettering too. Like Haley's gets the full whoosh, and then Doug's just get the fsh.
yeah. His hurts though. Like we see, like for the first time. So this gives us an idea of whether there's actual differences between each person's fireball, and we know that in a future RC coda they mentioned that, or maybe it was in the past RC coda they mentioned that they're attached to emotions, kind of like a Green Lantern thing almost. But yeah, we see this one hit like Owen, and it makes a really cool like splash effect almost like to show the impact. And he says, "Whoa, like that's remarkable. I could feel the heat from Haley's, so I dodged her extra hot fireball and planned to deflect the brunt of the impact from Doug's. But it packed far more of a punch than I expected. I guess they're not so much tiny as they are dense. That hurt." So it's like you can't even underestimate the little fireball because it's just pretty painful as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's I also really like the setting too. We've been getting a lot of just training, like seeing our characters kind of gearing up for this crazy event. But I feel like a lot of time has passed also, like when the issue first starts, we see that like Tyler says the dragon, like after he attacked Chicago, he hasn't really been active. So it kind of makes me seem a little bit of time has passed and stuff. So it's good. It's just a good scene, kind of getting these guys kind of built in, and they're on the island, right? I believe so. Like they're on the
Yep.
island.
Scorched Earth
So,
Island.
yeah, they're on the
Mhm.
Scorched Earth Island. They have everyone here, like all the masters and everything. So yeah, it's just yeah, cool seeing everyone kind of finally just fully come together in the
Yeah.
series, especially.
The next
Looks
like
like they're all
half
trading too.
page. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all like they're all trying to basically we last issue we got the revelation that that's it. Like this is the team that's going to supposedly stop the dragon. So now it's not just relying on who has the powers, but they're going to try to get everybody to get the powers because if Waylon can get it, what's stopping them all? But I feel
Yes.
like that's a good segue because this little half page right here before we transition to the actually, sorry, yeah, the top half of this next page with Waylon just splashing fireballs everywhere, I think is one of my favorite like panels in the entire book because it's so funny. Like it's a perfect encapsulation of who he is as a character. And yeah, he's just like so arrogant now that he can like throw the fireball, even though he's been probably working on it longer than arguably
Yeah.
anyone else. You know what I mean?
Everyone combined.
Easily.
Yeah.
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 Isn't
No,
isn't it interesting that it took him this many years to find somebody he cared about losing so much
yeah.
that he just now got the firepower?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was powerful. Like I guess he was just so isolated for so long.
I,
But yeah,
I
no,
think he mentions that, yeah, like part of it is like suppressing his emotions
Mm.
when he was becoming a
yeah,
master because he needed to not like have any liabilities or attachments.
yeah,
So it's like
Okay.
I like
typical
how he
Jedi stuff, you know.
exactly, and I
Yeah,
like how he acknowledged that as a weakness, and he was like, no, maybe that's why I didn't have the motivation to channel something or like the passion. So I like that he
yeah,
acknowledged that he has the foresight to reflect on that and to be like, okay, perhaps that's why. But yeah,
and
I
all
like the page. Wait, yeah, what?
um, real quick, like going into like you're saying, like does everyone have it? I was going back, and I think we quickly skipped over this in 25. Is that like and I kind of just clued into this more is like the rice, like obviously like the rice they were cooking and stuff, like that's kind of the embers of like the firepower, right? And we've seen the entire like we've seen everyone do it, right? So everyone has access a little bit to this power in some way. That's just the spark. It's just kind of fully getting into that. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm curious, like, is that something special from the from the temple itself? Like, is that some kind of power you get from
I
being
think
there?
it's
Or
emotion. That's what he's trying to tell them. But I think the thing that we learn later on in this issue, and this is a spoiler for sure, but if you're
yeah,
listening to
it's
this,
good.
I hope you, I hope you know that. But yeah, basically, what we learn from later on in the series, in the future issues, is that it's not so much. Basically, this issue is trying to tell you that if you use a certain emotion, you can channel the firepower, and he's telling them like these emotions, and that's where at one point Magwang is like, I spent my whole life like pushing those away. But then later on you realize it's not necessarily those emotions in particular, it's any emotion. It just has to be a really, really, really powerful like form of that emotion. So
then
you know what I mean?
So I could push back, like, how come, like, and we don't know this, maybe it could have happened somewhere else, but it just seems kind of weird that like it's only happened to maybe people that have been to the temple, like the fire temple, you know. Like, I wonder, like, people in New York
I
or
think that's a
something,
belief thing, right?
they experience
Yeah.
crazy emotion. Like, is it just something in this universe, like random people can just channel
I think
fire
it's
power?
it's a belief part as well. Like I think like part of it is because
sure, okay, yeah.
these people like are
placebo,
truly,
right? Like, it's
yeah, exactly.
Inferno
Like they
Girls, right?
truly
Back to that.
believe in the dragon and all that, which
Sure.
gives them the ability. Yeah,
Cool.
And training too. I think you still have to like you have some kind of martial arts training, because Kelly can fight, both the kids can fight. Obviously, everybody at the temple can. So,
well, it's like Avatar, bro.
It's
like Avatar.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
like the land of Pandora is what has the magical aspects of it, you know. So that's why I'm thinking maybe it's something that stems from the land itself. Like, that's kind of the common denominator, is everyone who has this kind of has touched the temple at some point, I believe. Or maybe I'm wrong.
That's what I'm thinking. Like that's what I hoped would be explored, but was disappointing to see like it wasn't explored much. And another part is like,
okay, I haven't read as far as you. I'm not as okay.
Another part is like, that's why I'm hoping in the final issue at least the colors will relate to that, because they haven't shown what the colors really mean yet. We assume that they're tied to different emotions like Green Lanterns, but like if that's just it, like to me that doesn't really make a lot of like, it's not very good in my opinion. If that's just it, it's kind of convenient.
How many colors have we gotten so far?
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say because he's not
blue, like just up until now
blue,
we've gotten
green,
orange,
and white.
blue, green, and
blue, green,
white,
orange, and white.
Waylon's white, and I couldn't really. I thought he was blue as well up until you guys actually said that. It kind of looked a little blue to me, but yeah, you could definitely tell in this issue that they're more white. But yeah, that is definitely a cool aspect for sure. I hope they explore that as well. I really do.
Yeah. And then for those of you who don't know, the final issue, which got pushed to FOC, I believe it's on FOC this week. So I believe the FOC is tomorrow. So tomorrow being January 22nd, as of today's 21st as a recording. And the release date for the book, I might be wrong. It might already be FOC, so I apologize if I'm wrong. And the release date of the book was slated for February 7th. But right now, let's see. It says 21st of February. So the book got delayed. Yeah, so that checks out with FOC being tomorrow then. Yeah. The good news is that they increased the size of the book. It went from being 56 pages to 64 pages. So they added 8 more pages. Yeah, they added 8 more pages to the story. So I'm hoping that gives us time. With the pacing of this book, that doesn't mean much. Think about how much
that is true.
You know? But like, let's hope that they tie loose ends in that that final issue. But with that being said, let's go back to this story. So Waylon is just, his ego's gone a bit wild, but he still is himself, because we see this funny moment between Magwang and Owen where he says, wow, he's a quick study, and they're saying, oh, he's like super humble, and he's like, oh, stop, he'll hear you, and you get this very like anime moment where he just like appears and their faces go, all like, oh no. So I love that little comedic moment. Samdi said in the Coda that he particularly enjoys drawing moments like that, the fun, like lighthearted stuff. So it was nice to see that. I really like the color distinction as well in these, like the background of these panels when they're training. You can get a sense of like, it's not only more serious, but I don't know if it's like the grayness in the background has this
Yeah.
sense of like a cloudy future, so it makes everything seem almost post-apocalyptic or uncertain. Do you know what I mean? It makes it seem like everything's up in the air, so I really like that. But I do like that you guys brought the attention of Wayland's white flames here, because as we see more of them in the next page, when he's messing around with the other students like Ling Zan, Reggie Osgood, and then he teases the kids and they run into a fight with him. And this is like the nice thing about all these people having their fire powers now, is that we get to see them a lot more in the issues and how they differently look. So I really like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to see the combinations for sure. It's good to see Magwang back as well. We get some shine from him as well. Him and Reggie. And I really like the relationship between Ling Zan and Reggie too. I don't know what you guys thought of that, but yeah, I'm
dude. I feel like he
sure.
planned for it, bro. He like deliberately sat there.
100%.
He's
both,
thinking about the future. You know, he's like, look, man, I could die the next coming weeks. There's this like hottie right here. We're both in the same situation. We're already brought together by a common goal. And he's
Your
like,
dad's loaded. He owns the whole island.
Exactly. That's the first thing he brings up. He's like, so your dad owns the whole island. But I do want to say, like, if there's ever any one like picture that could summarize, like, if you were like, someone was like, show me a picture of firepower to describe what the series is about, I think the picture of Ling Zan shaking Reggie's hand while in the background Wei Lun with just like full fire powers charging at fucking like some like one of his disciples. I think that's perfect. Yeah, I think it like perfectly describes the series and what it's about right there, like a panel. But yeah, I do love that. I think this is cool. I ship these two for sure. I feel like Ling Zan deserves happiness, and so does Reggie, my boy Reggie. Yeah. Never asked for anything.
That's the thing. They both do, right? Like, yeah, they both do. Like Reggie came in, he was just always such a nice guy, but he was like, he just hasn't found anyone yet. But Ling Zan, like, obviously, she's a little more sus to me, but she's still cool. So she deserves a happy ending.
She's a peeping Tom.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's a little.
We know that.
Yeah, she's definitely has some weird tendencies sometimes, but it's okay.
Yeah. So back to the
transition of colors. Yeah, the transition.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Crazy.
Matt Wilson and his signature pinks, and they even mentioned that like significantly in the RC Coda, but they just gush about Kirkman and Somni gush about how good Matt Wilson is, and rightfully so. I mean, he won the Eisner that year, so deserved. But yeah, I do love this moment because he says, okay, the kids are all like, you know, they're kicking all kinds of butt. You're missing it. He's almost like a proud dad moment and a proud like master moment, I would almost say. And that's where Kelly, this is the first time I was reading this, I got the impression that like Kelly's up to something. Like even if it's not something sinister, like it seems like she's up to something, and we'll get more into that later on. But yeah, they have this conversation. And that's where like she just says, like, how can you, like, you know, nothing's really okay. Like the kids, like the dragons, like, you know, there's this dragon kind of destroying whole parts of the world, and the only people that can really stop them is us and the kids. I mean, you and the kids. I can't do anything. And that's where he just feels bad, and he goes down and he gets back. Another nice. First of all, gorgeous. This island's amazing. Like, it's true that the situation sucks, but at least getting to be on that island is like somewhat of a silver lining.
Yeah, it makes it at least a little bit better, you know. But yeah, it's great seeing this dynamic always. But I think Kelly just really feels so helpless here, just because she's the only one in her family who hasn't channeled the firepower yet. Like she sees everyone else kind of trying and getting it. Wei Lun just got it, so I think at this point she really just feels helpless. And but yeah, I definitely agree. She looks like she's not looking like she's up to evil intents, but she looks like she's not telling him something, or she's hiding something from him for sure.
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah.
And so like we see this moment with Magwang, which I really like, because I think this really shows us how far we've come. Not in terms of, you know, earlier we saw how far the families come. Now they're all warriors. They're training. They're like the final, the resistance against this dragon who's taking over. And here we see an example of how far Magwang and Owen have come. I mean, you think back to the early days in the Prelude and the early issues where they were you could even just literally rivals, like, right? Like
Yeah.
Magwang hated his guts, looked for every excuse to bully him and fight him, and now they're friends, and he's trusting him to the point where like it's he's coming to Owen to tell him, you know, like he can't do it anymore. But then Owen's the one who gives him the motivation to keep going, and he's like, you know, we can do this. And then they make a joke about how, like, you know, he says I was one thing I like. He says I was like I don't know if my ego can handle it. Like I was the star student, now I can't do anything. Other people are doing the firepower. And then he's like, you know, they all do. He gives him the pep talk, and then he says, besides, Owen says, Ling Zan was the star student. So I think it's like, you know, it's like I'm not gonna insult any of us. I'm just gonna put it in a neutral, you know, like I did like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a safe choice here, and yeah, no, that was a great scene, and yeah, just nice seeing how far they've come. And I remember as the reader, I know personally, I like how much we used to hate Magwang, like as a character, like he was just such a dick at first, but yeah, he's really come around, and just has definitely some good intentions always. So it's nice to see that growth. And speaking of, or actually the opposite of growth, like just complete destruction, is this dragon, like in the next issue. Yeah, this scene we get
another change of colors too.
Yeah, always. Yeah, that's a good point. Like these scenes are just completely shifting, just tonally, like absolutely like crazy. And but the military, seeing them back, they're just always just completely bullied by Master Shah. It's funny to see, but yeah, this
I love his face
cool
shaded, like in the shadows in the first one. Yeah, like it looks really scary there. His eyes are glowing. You really get like, it's almost like trying to tone down the supernatural, but still give you like, no, he is still supernatural. You know what I mean? It's really well done. But yeah, this when he tells him like he says you guys are brave, and you know he says what usually follows is a list of demands, and that's where he says demands, and like I love how it's like both him and the dragon are shocked. It's just like he's so shocked, even the dragon is shocked. I just find that like it's just like, oh, you know. But it's just like, it's like, I demand you bow to your new ruler, and they do. It's like, it's a really cool moment, very, very, you know, Kirkman-esque moment. And then we go back again, and there's of course another color shift. They're the same location in the Owen Island residence, but this time it's during basically the dusk going into the night. Evening going into dusk going into the night. I love how it's like silhouettes in the first page. It really like sets the mood and the tone. And then Owen just appears out of nowhere, and he's like, "Can you come to bed?" And she's like, "No, I can't leave. I can't sleep. Leave me be." When she said "leave me be," that's when I knew for sure like something was up. I'm like, she's like trying to hide something, because she normally like wouldn't say something like that. And that's where we see in the last page, she is hiding something. She's trying to train. She clearly feels powerless, and she wants to contribute something to this effort. I think part of it is a parental like instinct to ensure the safety of the children. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't want her kids to be out of her sight in that kind of situation. Part of it is maybe her role as a police officer, as a steward of the community. Maybe she feels this right to you know, go above and beyond and do something more than just stand back and be supportive, you know, through words and like, you know, whatever. But I do really like that. It also shows that she kind of believes, and I think that's the really cool thing about this whole thing, is that we've always known Kelly had these like admirable qualities that I just mentioned before this, but we've known that like it's she's never been like super on board in terms of like, I don't think she really believed there was a dragon either at the beginning.
No.
Like I think she bought like everything Owen could do and believed all that, obviously, but it's like the dragon thing. But like over time, it's like now she doesn't only believe in the dragon, but she believes that she has the ability to channel the firepower. And you can see that with like the sweat on her forehead, the constant grind into the morning. So I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, and it was cool just seeing her, definitely the desperation. It was kind of, for me, I don't know, like in the past, I guess, and spoiler, I'm just gonna spoil it right now. This is kind of the first time until we see her, spoiler, use the firepower. Like this is kind of the last time we don't see her directly channel it. And I'm curious kind of what was going through her head exactly, like at that moment, which made her channel it, like different from now. Like, does it just take a long amount of time doing a training, or did something just click like, oh, I don't want to lose my kids? Because it seemed like she's been so desperate for a long time. So I was curious kind of what really sparked in her head to make that this trigger for her. I don't know about you guys, but
No,
that was definitely going through my
that's a
head.
great question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll reveal that. Maybe she'll reveal that later on, because some of them in future issues reveal like what gets them going for the firepower.
Oh, okay.
They
Because
talk about
she's
it.
always been the most desperate person about her family. So why couldn't
Mm-hmm.
she channel it until this time?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
she kind of did it on
yeah,
her own, right? Like it's not like
Mhm.
Owen was training her, giving her tips. She did this on her own.
Mhm.
So I'd definitely be curious to get a little bit more detail on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we go back in the next morning. Now it's morning on the island. We see the sunrise, gorgeous shot from far above, and you can really get a sense of scale of who the resistance force is, because you see all these warriors, these martial artists. They're all training, trying to channel the firepower. Then we see Owen gets put into view. He's training Magwang again. He's telling him, "Come on, you can do this. Focus. It's all about emotion." See, he says that's the keywords. Those are the keywords we were talking about earlier. He says, "You know this: loss, pain, fear. Find it, use it." And then Magwang says, "I've spent my life driving those feelings away. This isn't going to work." And then he says, "Just try." And then he says, "No." We get a huge, like if you played
Yeah.
WoW, this is pyroblast right
Large.
here.
Yeah, it's large. But besides Owen's one into the dragon, it's probably the biggest one we've seen, like the second biggest one.
Yeah, I think so
It's
far
huge.
it's probably the biggest one minus that one. Yeah, so massive fireball, and everyone is surprised. They
Everyone's
turn.
shocked, man.
Yeah.
Everyone looks stunned.
Even Kelly looks tense. He says, "I had no idea it would be so gigantic."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
and then,
love how. Yeah, did you guys think it was Magwang at first, or like
I thought it was
I did.
I thought
I
it was
did.
Magwang at first, because I think that's what the paneling is trying to make you think
Yes,
it is. They're trying to
100%,
misdirect
100%.
you, right? Yeah.
And the
And
eyes too. In the last panel, you could see his eyes turn red when he's
Yep.
saying no. I really thought it was him.
Yep.
that was so great. And I love the point they say in the RC Coda of that's never how the firepower has been channeled, is by a fist. Like it's normally by an open hand. So that's just like also a point where like
Oh,
he
interesting.
never could have channeled it like that. Like so it's just kind of like a normal punch. But no, it was a cool moment for sure. Everyone's just shocked. Obviously, we see Magwang shocked here. So obviously, it
The
wasn't him.
kids'
But
face, like their
yeah,
expressions, like Haley has
they
this like
were.
smug expression, like satisfied
Yeah,
expression, and then Doug is just like cheering. He's jumping up and down. Love that. And then she said, "Damn right," like she's gonna help with the
there's
effort.
smoke
So
still coming out of her hands. Like that was
yeah.
a big fireball for yeah.
Yeah. It was a little bit predictable, I'm not gonna lie, but
Yes.
it was really satisfying. It was well done, well paced. Pacing is a bit fast, it could be done a little bit better, but overall still really good considering how many story threads we're dealing with. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, completely agree. And yeah, definitely made me excited to see all this whole family go in there and kick this dragon's ass. So excited to see just if every single person in this army gets the firepower, or if just like the kind of the front lines, like the select few get the power. But yeah, curious to see that. But it's just nice seeing all this fire action kind of coming full circle here in the series. And yeah, I'm excited for the end, but I'm sad for sure, kind of gearing up for it. So yeah, that's it.
Agreed. Yeah. So before we end this episode, we've obviously got another installment of the RC Coda to talk about. I feel like this RC Coda, like some of it was fluffy in the sense that like they talked about some random crap for like quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like stuff that really
Yeah.
wasn't super relevant or was, but kind of boring. But it's still always nice to get these. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't complain, especially where other comics, they won't even give you a letters section. So these guys give us a short letters section and an RC Coda section, which I wish more comics did a commentary style thing. I'm not saying nobody does it. There's definitely other people that do it. They usually do it, and some people do it in floppies or single issues. Most people do it in collected editions, but it is nice. So yeah, they talk about just the process, the creative process, what it's like trying to do what do you call it? the not only the issues themselves, but RC Coda, and so they make a joke about how literally like 5 people in the whole world who listen to who read the RC Coda and talk about it. So I thought that was funny.
Oh, we got
But,
more,
he's
more
trying
than
to
half of
explain to his
that right
kid.
here.
Yeah,
what do you
exactly.
guys think? Like, do you guys think like a lot more people read this than they think?
It's definitely more than 5.
It's definitely more than 5, but I'm not sure how many people who read this comic actually read the whole back matter. I'm actually not sure about that, but for the diehard fans, I think it's definitely it's a treat for sure. It's much appreciated, and yeah, it's always a good time. I don't know how long it takes them. It's nice that they can talk about it and at least like it writes them down for them. But yeah, it's still an extra step. But yeah, I love it personally.
I have a question about that real quick. Do you, because I've always read it in the single issues. So are the RC codas in the hardcover or any of the trades? No, none of it.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do really have to be like a hardcore fan to read those.
Yep.
That is also true. Yep, that's also true.
Yeah. So yeah, another thing is they mentioned some of the the process of doing the pages, which was really cool, and why they did certain creative choices. But one thing that I could not personally accept was freaking Robert Kirkman slandering Superman 78.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
It's just
I
like,
didn't
bro,
know
how
that,
do you
but
not like Superman 78?
it makes so much sense though. If you think about all Kirkman's stuff that he's done, like with Invincible and stuff, like it definitely makes sense where kind of where his mind goes when he thinks about kind of superheroes and kind of things along those lines. But no, it was I thought that was pretty funny. But it was nice seeing Somni. He was defending it, so it was nice seeing him. He was nice seeing him there.
It's nice to see Somni's got his head screwed on straight. So.
Yeah, at least, right? Yeah. And his oldest kid too, he was apparently his kid was asking, or he was trying to explain the RC code to his oldest kid, and he was he was just questioning like why anyone would do that, or if anyone cares. We care, so
we care.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. I love how like they were like giving each other, some shit, there's some banter, and he says, Robert Kirkman says, it's taken us 26 issues to just become completely resigned with each other. Like, yeah, okay, that's how he is. That's fine, whatever. He's okay. And then Chris Samney says, he laughs, and he's like I said, I was talking to my daughter about it, and she was like, so you don't like doing them, but he's your friend, and you don't like talking to him? And then he says, like, well, laughs, it's complicated. And Kirkman says, like, laughs. Friend is such a strong word. Just like Jesus Christ. They throw the shade, and then Somni says, I meant the call, not whether I like you or not, whether I like doing the calls or not.
Yeah, no, it's so good. You get some gold in here sometimes. That's probably the best stuff, is just hearing them banter back and forth. But yeah, you always get some gold nuggets about the book and some teases and stuff. But yeah, I couldn't help but notice all like the last couple issues, like they do talk a lot about the different colors of the fireballs and just how they like them, but how much they differentiate. So curious to see if that goes anywhere, and I hope it does. So. Yeah.
And then last but not least, we want to just mention that Somni says that he really enjoys drawing randoms in the backgrounds, but it's not always like they don't always end up there. He says, but he talked about the ninja on page 19, and he says it turned out pretty cool. And it's just his head, but it looks kind of neat. So if you like that kind of stuff and you can want to get into the mind of the creators and what they were thinking when they were making each panel, like from that respect, because we're not going to go through all of it because there's a lot, but that's really fun. In the sense of, that this was an interesting RC Coda. So that's that. Next issue we have is Firepower 27, which we'll be recording the week of the 22nd of January. So sometime this week we'll be recording this episode, and we'll release it sometime soon. We're very excited. For the last 2 episodes, we'll be having a special guest. So we also do the Radiant Black podcast, if you haven't heard. And from that, we're going to be getting one of our fellow co-hosts from there, Matt, to join us for the final 2 issues of the entire series, because he also likes Firepower. It's very exciting because we're going to do all the episodes before February 21st. Yeah, so we were actually concerned about the schedule, but now we're actually ahead of schedule.
We're good now. Yeah, we're so
so
good now.
Yeah, so Kirkman delay is helping everybody, but yeah, we will for sure have all the episodes out, like all the issues that are not 30 out before 30, and then we're gonna do the review for 30 as a live stream the week it releases, either the day of or the day after. So that's something to look forward to. We are also thinking about doing a firepower trivia to close out the podcast. Normally, we would close out the podcast with either the final episode, an interview after the final episode, which we'll try to reach Kirkman, but there's absolutely no promises there. He's running the Energon ship right now. And then we would do the trivia, just because I don't think we've ever done trivia for Firepower, but I really think it would be fun, especially with all the names. I think people would get caught up in the names alone. So
Yes.
So we'll do a Firepower trivia. What we're gonna do is, we also wanted to mention one last thing. We have a giveaway, and the giveaway is actually perfect, and we'll give it away to anybody, even people who already read the series, and I'll explain why. So the giveaway is for Firepower Volume 1 Prelude. So the perfect gateway into this series, the perfect entry point. And in my opinion, a must read in terms of the first volume of the series. Like, it's not worth reading volume 1 without it. So we're going to give that away, and then we'll give away another one. But we'll do this. We'll do one that's just a giveaway, and we'll give it away. All you have to do is leave a comment on this episode once we drop it on YouTube, and tell us what you liked. Who's your favorite character in Firepower? And you'll be entered into the giveaway. And then for the other one, we'll give it to the winner of the Firepower trivia. So, all right, you know what? No, let's have some real fun. We'll buy the hardcover, and we'll give it to the winner of the Firepower trivia. The hardcover that collects like half the series. Okay, so
It is.
There you go.
It is a beautiful book.
It is beautiful. Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
Love that.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so trivia, expect that after issue 30. So it'll be a couple of weeks after 30, and it'll be the final episode of the podcast. And yeah, I just want to say it's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the last few issues, because I feel like things get crazy, even if it's not exactly what we thought. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So we'll see you next time, and stay roasty. Make sure you leave a comment for the giveaway. Peace.